Northeast Minneapolis. I'm a big dramatic woman singer, and I used to have a big band called The Hunger, and I went solo right before pandemic, and I'm recently working on my solo album and released a music video, Push and Pull, and single back in a couple weeks ago, I guess. What month is it? February 11th I released
it's almost,
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So lots of stuff going on.
I know.
Here she goes.
Yeah, because the push and pull, I want to hear more about that. I want to hear about that because the music is great. I love how you kind of own what's happening there, and it's, well, Heather was teasing me. It was a little too close to the bone for some of my, not in a different, but just dealing with, anyways, tell us about that. Cause
Very relatable.
Yes.
Okay, so just so we're clear, you want to know the history of Push and Pull, you want to know the backstory.
Yes, please.
Okay, so Push and Pull is basically what it's like to be in a toxic relationship. I thought, and for me it was like, I'm getting out of it. And I thought that it was like a poignant song to release right now because like we're all in a toxic relationship. Doesn't matter what your beliefs are, if you're on earth right now, you're being pushed and pulled all over, and it's really hard to know what you should be doing, what you should be informed about. And yeah, I think knowing what you should be doing is a really hard thing right now because that should is pretty heavy. But for me, I wrote that before pandemic, before politics got really divided. I think they always were, but you know, pandemic. So I got out of domestic abuse. I survived. And I feel like it's always kind of a piece of my music being like, I got out and I survived, and now I have to make something that was really ugly, something beautiful. So I just find that a lot of my music is in defiance of what has happened to me. And that, yeah, that's kind of what it is. That's why in the music video that I released on February 11th, like you see the country western dancers, because it is abuse and relationships are kind of like a dance, and I liked that pushing and the pulling that you get from that dance. And then it was really important to I dedicated that to people that survived and also the people that are still going through it and the people that we've lost, because we lose a lot of people in domestic abuse. And so yeah, that's and the last video that I put out before Push and Pull was Set You on Fire, which is really where you got to see actually like the insides of that relationship or a depiction of that relationship. So I thought it was appropriate that when I put out a first thing as a single solo artist, that you would see like, okay, that's what that was. We ended on that chapter, and we're going to start by telling this and moving forward. And that's when we move forward to working on the full-length album. So
I liked when I heard you say you set things on fire, or so you can rebuild.
Yep.
Like regrowth. Is this? Every time that I've seen you on stage, you are so strong and so confident and own it. Like, I'm just like, can I have a little piece of that?
Yes.
So to hear,
yes, you can.
yeah, to hear, I don't know if this has always been a part of you or what, but yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I would say that identity and confidence has been a part of my life, or, I mean, I just feel like I'm an Aries. I was born March 25th, so I came out like, let's go. And that's all I know about astrology. So basically it was like, yeah, I was born and I felt like I know exactly who I am. I know where I'm going. And then life happened. And then people throughout my life took pieces of my innocence and took pieces of my confidence. And I didn't really have a choice in that, right? And I don't think that like a lot of women, non-binary, people that are not white males have a lot of choice in what people do to them and take from them. And so no, there was a big time in my life where I had no confidence and I was nothing, and I had nothing but shame. And when I was in the abusive relationship, which the one I'm talking about was when I was 21, however, there's been others, because when you're vulnerable and you're hurt, you never know who's going to like walk through that door and take advantage of that. And also you can't see it. You are too damaged. So when I created Jaedyn James and The Hunger, I wanted to create a woman that everybody would be afraid of because she was so self-assured and that no one could touch. And that's pretty much what happened. So for 5 years, I dedicated everything to that group and that project and that vision. And I didn't date. Really, like I just focused on me and the band and what needed to happen. So everybody's allowed to that. I mean, I'm not that person all the time, but I can put those shoes on. And that's what's beautiful about Jaedyn James, because I get to be that like warrior. And I hope when you come to my shows that you get to do that too. You know, you get to have that, because it's something you can have. But definitely moving forward, I wanted to tap into there's a lot of strength in not having to be strong, because when I created Jaedyn James, I also forgot about that girl. I didn't forget about her, but I didn't take care of her. She just kind of was like this worm behind this mask and red hair and all the flair. And I really wanted to heal that girl that had been taken advantage of, that, you know, got so hurt. So moving forward, you will hear softness and actually coming down, and kind of that I'm versatile, because I think people always are expecting that sound from me. And I love to do it. I love to kick butt. I like when men are afraid of me. I like when they're like curious about me, because they're like, ugh. I'm like, yes, women are all of this. Get it together. And like, I love that. But it's just time for them to be, you know, to examine more. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to broaden the horizons. So, yeah.
Well, and I think you paint a picture for other women to see that sometimes that pendulum has to swing. You have to become that tough, and it's important for women to see that and see I can get out of this too. Mm-hmm. But then to come back and say, all right, now I'm going to be the whole person again.
Yeah.
Because as you said, so much is taken away.
Yeah.
So much is taken away. But this seems like a good time to listen to Push and Pull.
Yeah.
Ready?
Oh, there she is.
Yeah.
Cool.
I love it. I was like, I feel like before we introduced or interviewed Kai, he had a little snippet, and I was on his Instagram with the keyboards. It was like him and the boys, it might be, I don't know, there was like 3 of them. And now when I hear you song, I'm like, ooh, I think they were working on this.
Yeah. Well, I wrote this with Alain Blanc, so it's been a long time.
Okay.
But I had, Alain and I have been working on the record for 3 years. I don't have any music theory backing or anything, but I just write music. I'm just constantly trying to make it happen, whatever. And I'm bossy enough. I need your...
Assertive.
Yeah.
Assertive.
Yeah.
And you know what you want.
Yeah, most of the time. Yeah, there's definitely been times where I have my foot in my mouth, you know, like, and I just get...
That's just being a person.
Yeah. Just learn, I gotta go, oops, I didn't know.
Yeah.
For a long time, it's like I didn't know anything, and that's really powerful when you're like, I don't know, I just have to do it. And that's really what The Hunger was. It's like, I don't know, I don't care, we're doing it, I lived, like...
kind of just dive in, it seems like.
It just did. So then now... There was like, okay, we need to think a little bit more. So I got a music director because I was like, I need somebody that can speak the language, that understands what I'm saying and what I want. And actually, it's like we re-recorded Push and Pull because he was like, I want to make it pop. I want to make everything ready for the radio. I want it to go national, or to be able to go national.
Yeah.
So the new stuff is like, because he also lives in Colorado now, so it's just like been a crazy process. I don't even know what the point of what I was saying was. but I think
said,
Kai and maybe Joey. I don't know who would have been in here.
I'll have to send it to you when I look it up again, because I just remember hearing the keyboards and they were doing something.
Would have been Frank if it's keyboards. Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah. We might have it might have been like in September-ish, because we would have been just going in to record it.
It's like we made it like the Kai.
Was it? I don't remember.
Or Seth.
I can't. It's
one of them, yeah.
Yeah, but I know it was on Kai's. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
no, he's
just, when I
on tour
heard
with
it, I was like,
Hippocampus and
ooh.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. All my friends doing wonderful, beautiful things. It's
I
really
know,
great.
it's so cool.
It is.
So cool.
Yeah. It's some rehearsal a couple months ago. We had people in Black Velvet and nobody in Policia, but another band that played that night, and it was like sold out 2 nights in a row. And I just looked around the room and I was like, it's so cool that our friends are selling out First Ave 2 nights in a row right now. Like,
I know.
how cool of a
I
life.
know.
And like, I don't know, I think it'd be easy for, and you get that anywhere, like being competitive or whatever.
Or
And
wanting
there,
it,
and like you
wanting it
want
yourself,
it, you want
yeah.
the dream. But there's just something like, I don't know, I guess I never thought all my peers would be kind of like growing up and going to LA and Nashville and like, you know. No, this is not a slight, but it's like, you know, playing in Palmer's for years, you're like, okay, that's like that's what we do and we're happy doing that. So it's
Yeah.
really cool to see. Yeah, like, high on the road with Hippocampus. Great.
I know.
Awesome.
I know. I just, yeah.
Fun memories we're gonna have when we're all,
I know.
you
Sitting
know,
around.
too tired to play
I
anymore.
know.
So
you're like-
choose that age carefully, my friend.
It's gonna be real old.
Yeah.
It's gonna be real old.
Okay, we have a minute.
I do love this recording.
I know, you do have Mrs. Christina. I can
I
hear
definitely
the
have
tone. I was
Christina,
like,
yeah.
woo!
Yeah.
That is not easy, honey.
Well,
Not
yeah,
easy.
sometimes I'll say I'm like the chubbier, lazier version of Christina. Maybe like a little angrier. And that's fine.
I like anger though.
It's funny.
It's like
It's not
Fiona
funny, but-
Apple and Christina.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
that's
I love
what
those,
in
that
my
combo.
Yeah.
The Hook and Ladder show that I did when my first debut back after pandemic, did like full set, did some of the softer things, and like, I know where we're at.
Okay, I was like,
Yeah.
And this one woman, she comes up, she's like, I just like the angry stuff, and I was like, it's for you. All the angry stuff's for you, babe.
Like, let it out.
Push and Pull by Jaedyn James. Love that. And love even more that we have her right here in the studio. So that's fantastic. You were telling us a lot about kind of the backstory of this and the shift from Jaedyn James and the Hunger to what you're doing now. I'd be interested to hear about, you're doing some recording now.
Yes.
And how that's going.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited to talk about this recording process. So the engineer was Holly Hansen from Zoo Animal. And then I had Alain Blanc, who is my music director, so my partner in writing most of the songs, and he also really leaned into producer. We don't have enough producers in Minneapolis, and that's somebody that's outside of your band, although Alain was in my band. It's somebody that is going to be able to edit and reduce and make things ready for the radio and has an idea of what direction things should be going, and probably has a great knowledge of music or a great ear, like an audience's ear. So that was the first time I really had somebody besides myself, like that role. Like, I need you to figure this out. And it allowed me to relax. I've had good recording people. I've been with good bands. I've been with good engineers, but I've never been able to relax. I'm trying to take care of everybody else, make sure everybody's fed on time, and I'm so scared that what I'm going to do is bad that I just like, I seize up. And although it's like, yeah, that what we just listened to, Push and Pull, really proud of it, and I do a lot of cool stuff. But sometimes you just got to be able to sing without all of the ornaments and all the stuff. You just got to get the song out, which I was really bad at. And recording is so much different than stage. Like stage, you want to come to the stage, you want us to vibe, you want to give me all your trauma and me unpack it and sing it back at you. That I'm going to do for you. But recording is a different thing. You can't do that the whole time you're in there. Or I shouldn't have been, or couldn't have been. And I was like not getting the things I want. And that just like changed for me this round. So I finally became a recording artist. I finally relaxed and just got to be the singer, which I had never really had room to do. And that's something like I did to myself, you know. So I'm really, really excited because there were times when I was in that booth at Hideaway, which is an incredible studio, where I just felt like velvet was coming out of my mouth. I was like having like an out-of-body experience. And Holly and Alon would look at me and would be like, I don't know what's happening. Yeah, so I'm really, really excited because it was just world-changing for me. And the other thing is that, you know, as an artist, you always have to have a product. When you want to try to make a business out of it, you want to go past a hobby, you're going to have to try to sell something. I don't feel like, I mean, I'm here doing this interview, I'm like, I don't have to sell it. I don't have to have big whatever, although what I just said to you is like a big thing for me. My goal was just to have a good time, and I did. And that, I was like, dream come true. It's done. Like, I'm going to be the one that probably listens to it the most. That's just how it is. And I have to like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved the experience. So just going back to that, if there's artists listening, musicians listening, like, just ask yourself what you're doing here and why you're trying to do it. If you want to have a good time, how do you make that happen for yourself? If you want the music to be great, how do you make that happen? It might not have to be all on you. We're not all Prince, it turns out. That's okay. So, yeah, and I just worked with this incredible band. I had Frank Merklowitz, who also wrote, I think, 5 of the tunes. We tracked 13 songs in 4 days, and we were really, like, laser focused. And because I relaxed on singing, I like kept my voice and my agility, and I was like, it just really was. It was great. So he plays keys. He's incredible. Love him to pieces. And then I had Trevor Peterson on bass, who, incredible bass player. I can't remember the bands that he's in Velvet Negroni, but he plays sax in that. So, you know, the people that hear this that know him will know he's incredible. And then I have Tarek Abdulkader on drums, and he's in Purple Funk Metropolis and a few other projects, Freak, around town. And he has just really brought a lot of heart and humility to the drums and to the project. And then Alon was on guitar, and we just had those 4 pieces there. So I've got some work to do on the album, but I'm just really proud of it. I just feel like deeply proud of it, and if no one else listens to it, I don't care. Like, I like it. So that was the goal. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
I was gonna say, I like to hear that, you know, you hear Velvet flow out or whatever, because you get that when you hear the song, you know, when we play it or whatever, that brings you to that mindset. I mean, we know what we get when we see you on stage and what it pulls out of us, but to get your own goodness back at you.
Yeah, I think I was like ready to receive it. I think I was like finally ready to receive that, and that doesn't always happen. Like when you're so critical, because I am, and I think we all are. We're so critical of ourselves, and sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad. But to really just be like, I'm just going to enjoy this, and I do. And that's fine, and that's good. I don't have to hate myself in here right now. Because I feel like every time I came out of the recording studios, I was having like a tantrum. And not like a diva thing. It was just like, I'm scared I'm not good, and we're spending all this money. I'm spending all this money to make this happen. And why? You know, like, what's the goal here? I don't want big fame. I live in Minneapolis. I'm about to be 32. I just want to like my art, and I want people who connect with it, people who also like it, to have a good time, and that's it, you know? Like, do some shows. Great time.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, right, enjoy it.
Well, and I like the idea of telling other artists that too, because you're making an investment no matter what, and who you're paying, and in your time, and everything else, but it's got to be more enjoyable when you're doing what you know you do well, instead of trying to be the jack of all trades and work with stuff, because that's when I think the frustration gets high. Mm-hmm. So I think that's wise to do that. Are there any themes of the songs that are coming up?
I think it's a constant for me to have self-exploration. So it's always from my point of view. And it's always going to be about creating spaces for women. And, you know, I guess this record too, I flirted more with my queerness. So being pansexual, bisexual, kind of just fluid there. it being about somebody's mind. And it's hard though, because with soul music, it's so you've done me wrong stuff. First, I mean, I love that. Who doesn't love you've done me wrong? You know, like, and so there's some of that, and it just gets very. So I've got the kick butt tunes, right? The like full stacks sound in your face. I always like when I first started the band, I was like, I really wanted to be like the woman James Brown, like just that power. That was like the first vision, was like just the power of James Brown in the body of a woman. So like you couldn't mess with me. It was untouchable. And it turns out I'm not James Brown, and it's totally fine. I got humbled a little bit. But it's still really important to me to have that in the show and in the record. But again, the theme being exploration and knowing that I'm a full, round person. And that women with an X where the E is, because if you identify, whatever, hello, I love you, then you have, like, we need to take up space. I'm not going to apologize for taking up space. I exist. I'm round. I'm complex. I'm complicated. I'm intense, and it's great. And it's fine. Like, that's your problem that it bothers you, not me. So I'm just trying as hard as I can to be like, just not apologetic for that. And also, like, I'm not an unkind person. That doesn't make me I can be a diva, sure, whatever. But it's also just knowing, like, I'm going to make room for voices and hopefully hold them up and create that space, because I want that big space. And then also, again, being round, bringing in some like breathier, spiritual, just more relaxed, doesn't have to go anywhere. I don't have to like climax into this like crazy beast. I can just be fine with where I'm at. And that, those are kind of the themes of like, it's just, it was like a journey of acceptance of where I'm at and healing.
The time is right for healing.
I think so.
And I think that you're making space. I think you offer an opportunity for more people to lean into, away from that you done me wrong stuff, and into a place that's more positive.
Yeah.
You know, and so I thank you for doing that. I just think that that's amazing. And I'm always more women, more with the Y.
Yeah.
With the X, with the
whatever.
Let's
go.
I don't mind. I think that's, and I can't wait to hear it in the recording. But you've got a show coming up too.
I do have a show.
Let's hear more about that, please.
Yeah, I have a show coming up. The only announced show I have right now is April 23rd at Palmer's. It's a Saturday. I'm really, really excited. One, because I love Palmer's, and I love that the bartenders yell at me every single time. What up, Ben? And I also love Tony Zaccardi so much. I feel like I'm saying a lot, so that's good. But maybe Nebraska, two of my very good friends are going to open. Michaela Jensen and Kelly Larson. They do incredible covers and just have so much fun. So this is my last bar show all summer. The rest of the summer, which I haven't announced any of these shows, I can't wait. It's not my choice. I haven't told you about them yet. But because of legal reasons, I can't tell you about the rest of the summer yet. I'm really excited to have this bar show, because I'm just going to be able to do the thing that I like to do, which is be intimate. I like one-on-ones. I like small hangs. I like being able to look in your eyes and make you feel a little bit weird or make you feel great wherever we're at, wherever we're meeting you. So I'm really excited to be in that corner bar. I think it's going to be a really cool, special show, and I haven't been on stage inside Palmer's since on my own set, just to get all the facts there. My own set under my own stuff since 2016 on Valentine's Day. And I was going to play New Year's at Palmer's, but we had to cancel it because, you know, the big guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, April 23rd. It's a Saturday night, and we're just going to let our hair down, and I might make the boys wear tank tops. I don't know. Yeah, we might wear outfits from Push and Pull. Yeah, they hate it when I bring that up, but I really love the look.
it kind of reminded me of the Shania Twain.
Yeah, that was
video.
the whole
Okay,
thing.
I got your message.
Yes.
I was looking at it, I was like, ooh, this reminds me of, and that's one of the times that I was introduced to you, like 4 or 5 years ago? The first time they did it, and I was like, what the hell happened on stage? What is happening? We need to talk to her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and I think Palmer's was great because it's steamy, and I think one of the favorite times that I went to go see was at the Caboose
Okay.
years ago, and it was like the Northern Spark Night, and I remember saying, I'm going to take a little bit of time out of Northern Spike Tour to see you play, and
Thank
it
you.
was totally worth it.
Awesome.
Totally. But it's steamy, sexy music, and I think people will be fortunate if they get to see you at Palmer's, because then it sounds like you're going bigger.
Yeah.
Trying. I'm
It'll
trying.
be one of those, remember we saw her then? Should we listen?
Yeah. I'm going to open this here. I'm wondering.
Maybe we'll even let me say, Jane, thank you so much for coming in.
I'm
looking forward to that show and hearing the new music. I've enjoyed the old music, but you said it'll be more complete and more you, and I can't wait.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming to the Caboose show. That was major. It was like the first time I saw my name in like the lights. I was like, oh my gosh, I really want this dream. I didn't really know what that meant then. I really didn't, you know. But yeah, Palmer's, April 23rd. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna go down, and yeah, I think it might be. I can't say it's gonna be my last bar show, but when things start cooking, you know, they start going. So I'm really excited. I did Hook and Ladder. We had about 350 people there, and now I'm like, all right, who's gonna come to Palmer's? You know, who's gonna come? Who's vaccinated? Who wants to be close to me?
I know.
So Fave, maybe I'll get on the tabletop. I did that before. I might be too old now. I don't know.
No.
No.
Never.
No, you're
gonna say, I wanted to know if there is an interesting story from your push-pull video, because I saw a little clip of firefighters. I was like, oh my goodness. We gotta ask.
Okay, if anybody knows what fire department goes to Hook and Ladder, please reach out to me, because I tried to look it up and I couldn't figure it out. Yeah, so we did a music video at Hook and Ladder. So the original plan was that we were going to release Push and Pull before my debut show after pandemic. That didn't happen. It just was too much, and turns out there was a pandemic, so people kept getting sick and we couldn't get together or whatever. But Hook and Ladder was incredible. They, let us use the venue. And I pretty much was like, just give me the keys, boys. Like, just give me the theater and it'll be fine. And they were like, yeah, okay. Like, they weren't sure. And I was like, I'm really bossy. Like, I take care of everything. I've got it under control. You don't have to be here. Like, it's fine. Because, like, it's going to be a long shoot. It's going to be hours of the same boring thing. Like, rock and roll and stuff and star life is not really that glamorous. Just kidding. I love my life. But it's a lot of work. So, anyway, they were like, okay. And Chris gave me the keys to the theater. And I was like, cool. Before we even shoot a scene, anything, the fog machine that they had in-house just, like, blew up the spot. Just was so dense, like, we couldn't see each other, and the fire alarm eventually goes off. Like, it probably should have gone off sooner, to be honest. So it goes off, and all of a sudden, like, all these firefighters have, like, descended upon Hook and Ladder. And they're very handsome. I don't know if it's the uniform. I don't know if it's so they treat people with respect. I don't know what it is, but we love a firefighter. So they helped me figure out the alarm. I'm like on the phone with the owner, the director of the theater, like, I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed because I was like, no, my God, like no problems ever. And I was just mortified. So yeah, before I even got in the Fringe, before I had even shook my hiney one time, we got the alarms going off. But yeah, then later Chris was like, the only time that the fire department has been called out is when the riots were happening. And I was like, ooh, I'm really sorry. I felt really bad to like.
I'm a legend.
Yeah, I was like PTSD. I'm so sorry, Chris, but. We were fine, and Hook and Ladder still stands. So, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because if those sprinklers had started, Because that's the story of how it stayed open. Is somebody did break into the building and the sprinklers went on, and that'll take your skin right off on an old former firehouse. So we're glad you're safe. We're sad your hotness was too much.
I know. I was gonna say.
But we're glad you're safe. We're glad you're here, and we're glad that you're going to be playing on April 23rd at Palmer's. We're going to listen to a song.
Yeah.
Oh, a nice one. I like
Okay,
this
good.
one.
Because
Yeah.
I was like gonna try to mouth it to you, but
You're great. No.
okay.